Hi everyone, welcome to week 9. This will be the last video that I post for you, as I am going to go over your final project today. And so before I do that, just to touch base, due this week is your eSTEM site visit report. So if you click on that, it will give you some information. You can also download the document that tells you how to complete this. This project. So again, you chose a site visit. I saw most of you have posted in the discussion forum for this week which place you are going. So while visiting your site, you'll want to look for alignment of actual practice, delivery, and theoretical foundations that are aligned with the EE guidelines and the connections to STEM education. So thinking about those STEM attributes. So you were evaluating curriculum using the STEM attributes and the EE guidelines. So those should be fresh in your mind. So thinking about just watching for those as you visit this site, asking questions about those that are aligned with those. You'll want to take some photos. If you're doing a virtual visit, you can take some screenshots just to include in your presentation. So things that should be in your report is a description of the site, information on their mission and goals of the organization, populations that are served by the organization, information on how the programs align, as I mentioned, with the STEM attributes checklist and the guidelines. Take photos. You get to choose, again, your format for your report. You can do a Pecha Kucha images with a voiceover presentation. I would say no more than 10 minutes. You could also do like a slide presentation with narration. You could do a written report without any narration, double spaced, no more than 3 pages. You could do a slide presentation that includes narration or a video presentation. So really, I just want you to give us a brief, maybe less than 10 minutes on the presentation or no more than 3 pages overview of what you experienced at the site and how it aligned with environmental education and environmental STEM education. So that report is due on May 30th. And so that's the project that's due this coming week. And then for your final project, you are going to actually finish up. This is the second part of, if you remember way back at the beginning, we did some reports on environmental issues, both locally and nationally. So you picked, you actually did a class report on a national environmental issue, and then you did your individual report. And so taking that idea for environmental ed, you're going to now talk about and create a report, an implementation plan for how you're going to incorporate at least some sort of environmental education. It could be a few lessons. It could be a unit. Don't go too big here. So it could be a series of activities you do for like an outdoor school, or maybe even a family birthday party. So you just want to introduce your family members, younger members, children to environmental education. And so you're gonna create a plan for actually implementing that in some fashion. So I've provided some resources under week 10. These are some plans. These are pretty big plans, and I just am providing you, it looks like I added this one twice. I'll fix that. Just some examples of what an environmental education plan looks like. So this one, for instance, is, I think, with North Carolina school district. And so it's actually for their whole school system. And so what you might gain from looking at this is just getting some ideas for how to format it. I liked in this one, it talked about the status. It has some goals. It included, a graphic of plan, goals, and objectives. And so that's something you could include. I've also added, so Project Learning Tree actually has like bundles of lessons that are specifically geared towards environmental education. And so you could look at those. There's also this one. This is another action program for schools guide. So you're going to create some sort of action plan, and I'm going to leave this one pretty much open in terms of formatting. So I'm going to pull up the actual assignment here. And so let's see, actually, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that. So where did it go? Pretty sure this is, oh, this is it. So under week 9, it'll give you some more explanations. So for your final project, so think about starting small, perhaps an Earth Day unit that includes a few lessons, or choose a couple PLT lessons to implement in your classroom or in an informal setting. You're going to outline your plan for how you will implement that. Your plan should demonstrate and reference the information and knowledge you've gained around STEM lesson formats, components, and priorities. So, meaning you need to reference the guidelines, the STEM attributes. You need to talk about why STEM is important, why you're suggesting that this would be a good idea to implement. I want you to create something that you might be able to share with a principal, with a parent, with an administrator, with someone in an agency, and say, hey, I think we should incorporate or implement more environmental education, or I want to do these really fun activities with our Girl Scout troop that are about environmental education. Here's my proposal. So think of it more as like a proposal for implementing some good eSTEM curriculum lesson plans. So along with that, you need to actually include things like what the lessons are. So you don't have to write new lesson plans. You can actually take some lessons that you've evaluated. Some of you have, could be from the Project Learning Tree book, could be from Oregon Sci-Ed, could be some of you evaluated other curriculum. Maybe it's something you're using at your site. And so this plan is just for you to say, okay, this is how I'm going to implement it. This is what I'm going to use. This is how I would do it in this setting. Okay, so I have created a rubric that if you click on the assignment, it will show you what the actual, oh, did I not publish it? Well, let me take it off student view, and that way you can see what it looks like. It's weird that it doesn't show that. Well, I will have to make sure that, oh gosh, I hope I did save that. so make sure that you get to see the rubric. So it's basically 4 parts, 5 points each. And really I'm looking for, again, the criteria is going to be, is it professionally formatted in a way that can be communicated through an education network? Does it address your content or your environmental education idea that you chose? And does it align with the attributes and the guidelines? So if you all of you picked a specific topic that you were going to explore, if you really have become aware of a different topic that perhaps makes more sense now, you would like to change your topic and create a plan for another content area, that's fine. So just, you can do that. It would be probably, a little harder since you've already looked at the other one a little more closely. But so just remember that whatever you choose, any sample lessons, activities, curriculum, and materials that you're planning on using with this plan need to be included. So you can borrow, steal, but include references to where you got the materials and include those in your plan as attachments or appendices if needed. So that is it. Again, I will somehow missed adding the rubric, but I'll get the rubric posted for you tonight. So that's it for the rest of the term. That's your final project. Again, if you have questions about the final project or need some support, feel free to sign up for office hours. We can do those via Zoom. So here's my office hour sign up. We can take, 10 minutes can go a long way to just getting you through the hump and make it easier if you have any confusion about that. And if there's there's not a time on there that works for you, please just email me and we'll set up another time. So good luck finishing up. It's been great having you in class, and hopefully you've learned some things about environmental education and STEM environmental education specifically, and have been inspired to incorporate that in your classrooms. So I hope you have a good summer, enjoy break, and maybe I'll see some of you in STEM technology in the fall.